The great hall of the Galactic Council Station buzzed with nervous energy. 12 different alien species had gathered for what many believed would be the most important meeting in galactic history. The air recyclers worked overtime to handle the mix of different atmospheres each race needed to breathe. Ambassador Veltar of the Altarian Empire stood at the center podium. His blue skin shimmered under the artificial lights as he spoke to the assembled delegates. Fellow beings, we face extinction. Not from disease or natural disaster, but from humans. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The Zephyrian delegate clicked his mandibles in agreement. The Chronari representative's tentacles writhed with anxiety. Even the normally calm Etherian floated lower in their containment field. For 100 years, humanity has spread across our galaxy like a plague, Veltar continued. They take our worlds. They defeat our fleets. They ignore our laws and treaties. Every time we think we understand them, they surprise us with new weapons and tactics. In the human section of the hall, Jake Morrison sat quietly. He was a tall man with graying hair and steady eyes. Once, he had been a military commander. Now, he served as Earth's ambassador to the Council. He listened without expression as Veltar spoke. We have tried everything, the Altarian said. Economic sanctions failed. Military action failed. Diplomatic protests failed. Humans simply do not respond to normal methods of control. Lisa Parker watched from the observation deck above. She appeared to be just another human aide taking notes. In reality, she was Earth's top intelligence agent on the station. Her job was to gather information about alien plans and send it back to human space. She had been doing this job for 3 years, and the aliens still had no idea who she really was. But we have one final option, Veltar announced. Our greatest scientists have been working together in secret. They have created something that can stop the human threat once and for all. The hall fell silent. Even the constant hum of the station's machinery seemed to quiet down. We call it the Unity device, Veltar said. It broadcasts a special energy field that affects the human brain. This field will make humans peaceful. It will remove their aggressive nature. They will no longer want to fight or expand or conquer. The Zephyrian delegate spoke up. How do we know this will work? Humans are not like other species. They do not follow normal patterns. Our tests show it is effective, Veltar replied. We have captured human prisoners from recent conflicts. When exposed to the Unity field, they become calm and cooperative. They lose all desire for violence or conquest. Jake Morrison raised his hand. May I speak? The hall turned to look at him. Some delegates showed fear. Others showed hatred. All showed respect because humans had earned that through their victories. The human representative wishes to address the council, Veltar announced. Jake stood slowly. He walked to the speaking platform with calm, measured steps. When he reached the microphone, he looked around the hall at all the assembled aliens. I have listened to your concerns, he said in a clear voice. I understand your fear. Humans have indeed been expanding across the galaxy. We have been taking worlds and building fleets. From your perspective, we must seem like a terrible threat. Several delegates nodded. The Chronari representative's tentacles stopped writhing for a moment. But I must ask you a question, Jake continued. In all our expansion, how many civilian populations have we destroyed? How many non-military targets have we attacked? How many species have we driven to extinction? The hall was silent. No one answered because they all knew the answer was 0. Humans fight soldiers and destroy military targets, Jake said. We do not make war on civilians. We do not destroy cultures or eliminate species. When we take a world, the people living there continue to live. Often, they live better than before. Veltar interrupted. But you still take what is not yours? You ignore our laws and our boundaries. Jake nodded. This is true. We do expand. We do take worlds, and we will continue to do so. The delegates shifted nervously. Some reached for communication devices to alert their home governments. You see, Jake said, humans have a different view of the galaxy than you do. You see a collection of territories that belong to different species. You see boundaries and laws that must be respected. We see something else entirely. He paused and looked directly at Veltar. We see potential. We see worlds that could support more life. We see technologies that could be improved. We see species that could grow and develop beyond their current limits. Most importantly, we see a galaxy that is standing still while the universe moves forward. Lisa Parker leaned forward in the observation deck. This was not the speech Jake had planned to give. He was improvising, which meant something had changed. Your Unity device will not work, Jake said simply. Not because we are immune to it, but because you fundamentally misunderstand what drives us. You think we expand because we are aggressive. You think we fight because we love violence. You are wrong. He walked closer to the assembled delegates. We expand because we see possibilities you cannot imagine. We fight because you try to stop us from reaching those possibilities. Remove our aggression, and you might make us peaceful. But you will not make us stop growing. You will not make us stop learning. You will not make us stop becoming more than we are today. The hall erupted in angry voices. Delegates shouted at each other in a dozen different languages. Security forces moved closer to the human section. Jake raised his voice above the noise. You have 30 days to activate your device. We know about it. We know where it is. We know how it works. And we have prepared our response. He turned and walked back toward his seat. Before sitting down, he looked once more at the assembled delegates. We appreciate your concerns about our expansion. However, we must respectfully decline your invitation to cease existing as we are. The chaos in the hall continued as Jake Morrison sat down. Above in the observation deck, Lisa Parker was already sending coded messages to Earth. The galaxy's final hope was about to meet humanity's unyielding response, and the humans were ready. 3 days after Jake Morrison's speech to the Galactic Council, Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the command center of Earth's primary military station. The massive facility orbited just outside the solar system, hidden behind a network of stealth fields that made it invisible to alien sensors. How long do we have? She asked her chief of staff. 27 days until they activate the Unity device, came the reply. Lisa Parker's intelligence reports suggest they're moving faster than expected. Kate nodded. She was a woman in her 50s, with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had earned her position by winning battles that everyone said were impossible to win. Today, she faced her greatest challenge yet. Send word to all fleet commanders, she ordered. Operation Turnabout begins now. Across human space, military bases came alive with activity. On the research station near Proxima, Centauri, Dr. Sam Mitchell received Kate's message and smiled. He had been waiting for this moment for 5 years. Begin final preparations on all projects, he told his team. It's time to show the galaxy what we've really been working on. Dr. Mitchell was a thin man with wild hair who looked more like a college professor than humanity's most dangerous scientist. His laboratory was filled with pieces of alien technology, but not in the way the aliens might expect. Every captured weapon, every seized computer, every alien device had been taken apart, studied, and rebuilt. The beautiful thing about our alien friends, he explained to his assistant, is that they think in straight lines. Each species develops technology in one direction and stops there. They never think to combine ideas from different sources. He pointed to a display showing human ship designs. The Altarians build strong armor, but weak weapons. The Zephyrians build fast engines, but poor shields. The Chronari build good sensors, but slow computers. Each species thinks their way is the only way. His assistant looked confused. But sir, how does that help us? Because humans don't think that way, Dr. Mitchell replied. We take the best ideas from everywhere and make them work together. Our new ships have Altarian armor, Zephyrian engines, Chronari sensors, and human weapons that are better than anything any single species ever imagined. Meanwhile, in the outer rim of the galaxy, Captain Amy Chun commanded a fleet of ships that officially did not exist. Her vessels were small and fast, designed to slip past alien defenses without being detected. For the past 2 years, she had been mapping every major alien installation in the galaxy. Ma'am, we've found it, her navigation officer reported. The Unity device is exactly where our intelligence said it would be. Amy looked at the tactical display. The device was housed in a massive space station, protected by the combined fleets of 6 alien species. On paper, it should have been impossible. To attack, send a coded message to Admiral Sullivan, Amy ordered. Tell her the target is confirmed. And tell her our surprise is ready. Amy's surprise was something the aliens would never expect. Hidden in asteroid fields throughout their territory were small human bases. Each base contained a handful of ships and a few dozen soldiers. The aliens had searched for these bases for years, but never found them, because they were hidden using technology that combined stealth methods from 4 different species. Planet Kepler 442b, Colonel Ryan Bennett was training soldiers for a very special mission. His men and women were learning to use alien weapons, speak alien languages, and move through alien facilities without being detected. Remember, he told his troops, we are not there to destroy. We are there to capture. Every alien commander we take alive is one less enemy making decisions against us. Bennett was a quiet man who had spent his career studying alien military tactics. He knew how each species fought, what they feared, and how they would react under pressure. His soldiers were not just warriors. They were specialists who could think like aliens. The key to beating them, he explained, is understanding that they cannot imagine losing. For 1,000 years, these species have been the top powers in the galaxy. They have never faced an enemy that could match them, let alone defeat them. This makes them predictable. Back on the command station, Admiral Sullivan reviewed reports from across human space. Every piece was falling into place. Dr. Mitchell's hybrid technology was ready. Captain Shun's stealth fleet had located all the targets. Colonel Bennett's special forces were prepared for their missions. But the most important piece was something the aliens would never suspect. For 3 years, human agents like Lisa Parker had been working inside alien governments. They had been promoted to important positions, given access to secret information, and trusted with critical decisions. How many of our people are in place? Sullivan asked her intelligence chief. We have agents in key positions in all 12 council species, came the reply. When the time comes, they will be able to cause confusion and delay alien responses. Sullivan walked to the main display screen, which showed a map of the entire galaxy. Red dots marked alien military bases. Blue dots showed human positions. Green dots indicated the locations of secret human assets. The aliens think they are fighting a war, she said to her staff. They think this is about military power and who has the bigger fleet. They don't understand that we have been preparing for this moment for decades. She pointed to the center of the display, where the Unity device station was marked with a special symbol. They built their weapon to make us peaceful. They think that will solve their problem. But they made one critical mistake. Her staff waited for her to continue. They assume that aggression is what makes us dangerous. They think that if they remove our desire to fight, we will become harmless. But our strength has never been aggression. Our strength is adaptation. The room was silent as everyone considered her words. In 27 days, they will activate their device. They expect us to try to destroy it. They expect us to attack with our largest fleets and our most powerful weapons. They are prepared for that kind of fight. Sullivan smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. Instead, we are going to capture their weapon. We are going to turn it against them. And we are going to show them what happens when humans adapt their own technology against them. She turned to face her command staff. Send the final orders. To all units. Operation Turnabout is now active. In 27 days, the galaxy will discover that humanity's greatest strength is not our ability to fight, but our ability to learn. Across human space, ships began moving toward their targets. The aliens thought they were fighting a war, but the humans were about to teach them the difference between fighting and winning. The day had come. Across the galaxy, alien forces prepared to activate the Unity device that would finally stop human expansion. On the massive space station that housed a weapon, Admiral Veltar watched his screens with satisfaction. Everything was ready. Begin the activation sequence, he ordered. In 1 hour, the human threat will be ended forever. What Veltar did not know was that human ships were already moving toward his station. Captain Matt Williams commanded a fleet that looked impossibly small for such an important mission. Only 12 ships approached the heavily defended alien position. All ships, report status, Matt said into his communication device. Ship 2 ready, came the first reply. Hybrid systems online. Ship 3 ready. Stealth fields active. One by one, all 12 ships confirmed they were prepared. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human engineering, combining the best technology from multiple alien species with improvements that no single race had ever imagined. Lieutenant Beth Crawford sat at the technology station on Matt's ship. Her job was to take control of the Unity device once they captured the station. She had spent 3 years studying alien computer systems and knew them better than most aliens did. Captain, I'm detecting the activation sequence, she reported. They're starting the process now. Good, Matt replied. That means all their attention is focused on the device. They won't notice us until it's too late. At the same moment, across 17 different star systems, Commander Alex Turner was coordinating the largest military operation in human history. From his command ship, he watched as human forces struck alien military bases simultaneously. Strike Team Alpha report, he said. Altarian home fleet destroyed, came the reply. No survivors escaped. Strike Team Beta report. Zephyrian Command Center captured. All senior officers in custody. Strike Team Gamma report. Chronari shipyards offline. Production facilities intact, but under human control. One by one, the reports came in. Every major alien military installation was either destroyed or captured. The alien species that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years were watching their power crumble in a single day. Dr. Susan Blake monitored alien communications from her position on Turner's command ship. As a specialist in alien psychology, she was tracking how different species reacted to the sudden attacks. Commander, the aliens are in complete panic, she reported. Their military leaders are trying to coordinate a response, but they can't communicate with each other. Our agents have cut their command networks. What about civilian populations? Turner asked. Confusion and fear, but no mass panic. They don't understand what's happening yet. Most think this is just another small human raid. Turner nodded. The human strategy was working perfectly. Strike fast, hit military targets only, and avoid civilian casualties. This approach terrified alien leaders more than random destruction. Would, because it showed that humans could be precise when they chose to be. Back at the Unity device station, Captain Williams' small fleet had reached attack range. The alien defenders finally noticed them and sounded alarm signals throughout the station. 12 human ships approaching. An alien officer shouted, "All defensive systems activate." Admiral Veltar looked at his tactical display in disbelief. 12 ships? They send 12 ships against our entire defensive fleet? Are they insane? Perhaps they plan to sacrifice themselves to stop the device, his aide suggested. Let them come, Veltar decided. Our shields can handle anything they throw at us. Continue the activation sequence. What happened next would be talked about in military academies for generations. The 12 human ships did not attack the station directly. Instead, they split into 4 groups and moved in a complex pattern that confused the alien defenders. Enemy ships are ... dancing. One alien gunner reported, "They're not attacking," another said. "What are they doing?" Lieutenant Crawford watched her instruments carefully. "Captain, their confusion is giving us the time we need. I'm detecting weak points in their shield grid. All ships execute pattern." "Omega," Matt ordered. The human vessels suddenly accelerated to speeds that should have been impossible. Using hybrid engines that combined technology from 3 different species, they moved faster than alien sensors could track. The first alien ship to fire missed completely. The second ship's weapons hit empty space where a human vessel had been a moment before. The third ship managed to hit a human vessel, but its weapons bounced harmlessly off armor that used alien defensive technology improved by human engineering. "Impossible," Veltar shouted. "Their ships are too small to have that kind of armor." "Sir, their weapons are penetrating our shields." A tactical officer reported in panic. The human ships were using a combination of energy weapons from 4 different alien species, all powered by human reactor designs that produced twice as much energy as anything the aliens had ever built. Each shot cut through alien defenses like they were made of paper. Within 15 minutes, half the alien defensive fleet was destroyed or disabled. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but human vessels were too fast and too maneuverable to escape. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet," an alien communication officer announced. "Put it on screen," Veltar ordered. Captain Williams appeared on the display. He looked calm and professional, like a man doing a routine job. "Admiral Veltar, this is Captain Williams of the human fleet. You have 60 seconds to surrender your station and turn off all defensive systems. If you comply, your crew will not be harmed." "Never," Veltar shouted. "Activate the Unity device now. Full power." "Sir, the activation sequence isn't complete," his chief engineer protested. "I don't care. Turn it on." Lieutenant Crawford smiled as she watched the alien device begin to operate. "Captain, they're doing exactly what we hoped they would do." "Explain." Matt said, "By activating the device early, they've made it unstable. I can now access their control systems and take over the entire station from here." Her fingers moved quickly across her console. 3 years of studying alien technology had prepared her for this moment. She bypassed their security systems, overrode their safety protocols, and began taking control of the Unity device. "What's happening?" Veltar demanded, as alarms began sounding throughout his station. "Sir, we're losing control of our own systems," an engineer reported. "Something is taking over our computers. The humans are inside our network," another officer said in disbelief. On Williams' ship, Beth Crawford announced a success. "Captain, I have complete control of the Unity device. The station is ours." Across the galaxy, Commander Turner was receiving similar reports from all 17 strike zones. Alien military forces were surrendering or fleeing. Their command structure was collapsing. Their greatest weapon now belonged to humanity. "Dr. Blake, what's the psychological impact?" Turner asked. "Complete demoralization. she replied. They're not just defeated, they're comprehensively outmatched. Many alien leaders are already requesting surrender terms. And civilian populations? Still confused, but beginning to understand that their military has been completely defeated. Most are waiting to see what humans do next. Turner looked at his tactical display. In a single day, humanity had captured or destroyed the military power of 12 alien species. The Unity device that was supposed to pacify humans was now under human control. The galaxy's final hope had not just failed, it had become humanity's greatest asset. Send a message to all human forces, Turner ordered. Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2, occupation and reconstruction. The war was over. Now the real work would begin. 2 weeks after the Unity device fell into human hands, Ambassador Luke Davis stood in what used to be the Altarian Council Chamber. The grand room with its blue crystal walls had once been the center of power for one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. Now it served as the temporary headquarters for human relief operations. How many refugees do we have? Luke asked his aide. Approximately 2 million Altarians have fled their home worlds, came the reply. Most are gathered in 3 main camps on the outer colonies. Luke nodded thoughtfully. He was a man in his 40s with kind eyes and a calm manner that helped put aliens at ease. His job was one of the most difficult in human space, managing the humanitarian crisis that followed humanity's rapid victory. Make sure all camps have adequate food and medical supplies, he ordered, and send translation teams to explain that we're not planning to harm civilian populations. The Altarian refugees were not alone in their fear. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens were trying to understand what had happened to their worlds. Some species had surrendered immediately after seeing their fleets destroyed. Others had retreated to their home systems and closed their borders. A few were still trying to organize resistance movements. General Chris Harper was dealing with the most difficult cases. His office was located on the former Zephyrian Military Command Station, which now served as the center for human occupation forces. Chris was a large man with a serious face who had spent his career planning complex military operations. Now he was using those same skills to rebuild conquered alien worlds. General, we have a problem on Zephyr Prime, his chief of staff reported. Local leaders are refusing to cooperate with our administration teams. What's their complaint? Chris asked. They say humans have no right to govern their world. They want their old government restored. Chris looked at the tactical display showing Zephyr Prime. The planet had been one of the most heavily defended worlds in alien space, but it had fallen to human forces in less than 6 hours. Schedule a meeting with their leadership council. He decided, it's time to explain how things work now. 3 days later, Chris sat across from 12 Zephyrian officials in a conference room that had been hastily set up on their conquered world. The aliens looked nervous and angry, with their insect-like features twitching in agitation. We demand that you withdraw from our world, the lead Zephyrian declared. You have no legal authority here. You're right, Chris replied calmly. We have no legal authority under your old laws, but those laws no longer apply. What gives you the right to change our laws? Victory, Chris said simply. We defeated your military. We captured your government. We now control your territory. This gives us the authority to establish new laws. The Zephyrians buzzed angrily among themselves. Finally, their leader spoke again. What do you plan to do with us? The same thing we've done on every other world. We've taken, Chris explained. We will rebuild your infrastructure. We will establish fair and efficient government. We will protect your people from harm. And we will give you opportunities to participate in the new system. As your slaves? As citizens, Chris corrected. Any Zephyrian who demonstrates competence and loyalty can hold important positions in the new administration. The best qualified individuals will be promoted, regardless of their species. One of the younger Zephyrians leaned forward. And if we refuse to cooperate? Chris's expression did not change. Then you will be replaced by someone who will cooperate. Your people will continue to live under human administration with or without your help. The only question is whether you want to be part of building the new system or watching from the sidelines. Across the galaxy, Dr. Mary Johnson was having more positive conversations. Her team worked with alien scientists and leaders who had chosen to embrace human rule rather than resist it. Her laboratory was located on a space station that orbited the neutral zone between human and former alien territory. Dr. Johnson, the Chronari research team has made a breakthrough, her assistant announced. Mary looked up from her work. She was a middle-aged woman with silver hair who had spent her career studying alien cultures. Since the war ended, she had been working to integrate willing alien scientists into human research programs. What kind of breakthrough? She asked. They figured out how to combine their bioengineering techniques with our computer technology. The result is a processing system that's 20% more efficient than anything either species had developed separately. Mary smiled. This was exactly what she had hoped would happen. Excellent. Make sure the Chronari team gets full credit for their work and begin testing the new system immediately. The integration programs were producing results across many different fields. Alien engineers were learning human construction techniques and improving them with their own knowledge. Human doctors were working with alien medical specialists to develop new treatments. Scientists from multiple species were collaborating on projects that no single race could have completed alone. Captain Jane Foster commanded the ships that made all of this cooperation possible. Her fleet patrolled the spaces between worlds, ensuring that resistance groups could not disrupt the reconstruction efforts. Jane was a tough woman with short black hair who had earned her command through years of successful missions. Captain, we're receiving a distress signal from the Vega system, her communication officer reported. What's the situation? Jane asked. A group of Altarian militants has seized a mining station. They're demanding that humans withdraw from their territory. Jane studied the tactical display. The mining station was small and lightly defended, but it provided resources that several nearby colonies needed to survive. How many hostages? She asked. Approximately 50 alien workers and 5 human supervisors. Take us to the Vega system, Jane ordered, and prepare a boarding team. 6 hours later, Jane's ship reached the mining station. The Altarian militants had barricaded themselves inside the control center and were threatening to destroy the facility if humans did not leave their space. This is Captain Foster of the human fleet, Jane announced over the communication channel. You have 30 minutes to release all hostages and surrender. If you comply, you will be treated fairly under human law. We will never surrender to human invaders, came the angry reply. Jane turned to her tactical officer. Can we take the station without harming the hostages? Yes, ma'am. The militants are using old Altarian weapons that can't penetrate our armor. We can neutralize them easily. 20 minutes later, human soldiers had secured the mining station. The militants were captured alive, the hostages were freed, and the facility was back in operation. It was a small incident, but it demonstrated an important point. Resistance to human rule was becoming increasingly hopeless. Back on his command station, General Harper received reports from across human-controlled space. Most alien populations were adapting to their new circumstances. Infrastructure was being rebuilt faster than anyone had expected. Economic production was actually increasing on many worlds as human efficiency methods were implemented. The integration is proceeding ahead of schedule, his aide reported. Most alien species are discovering that life under human administration is more stable and prosperous than what they had before. Chris nodded. Any major resistance movements? A few scattered. Groups, but Captain Foster's patrols are keeping them contained. Most aliens are choosing cooperation over continued fighting. Good. Begin Phase 3 planning. It's time to start thinking about long-term governance structures. The galaxy was changing rapidly. Old boundaries were disappearing. Ancient rivalries were being replaced by new forms of cooperation. And everywhere humans went, they brought not just order, but opportunity for growth that the alien species had never imagined possible. The war was over, but the real transformation was just beginning. 5 years had passed since the Unity device fell into human hands. The galaxy that emerged from those chaotic days was almost unrecognizable from what had existed before. President Carl Thompson stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Administration Center, looking out at a sight that would have amazed anyone from the old days. Ships from dozens of different species moved through the traffic lanes around the station. Galterian cargo vessels flew alongside human frigates. Zephyrian passenger ships shared space with Karnari research vessels. What had once been separate, hostile territories was now a single, unified civilization. Mr. President, the morning briefing is ready, his aide announced. Carl nodded and walked to the conference room. He was a man in his early 50s with gray hair and intelligent eyes. Before the war, he had been a colonial administrator on a small human settlement. Now he governed the entire galaxy, though the title of president was somewhat misleading. He had been elected by representatives from all species, not just humans. What's the first item? He asked as he took his seat. Economic report from Dr. Baker. His aide replied. Dr. Helen Baker appeared on the communication screen from her office on the research station near the galactic core. She was a cheerful woman with blonde hair who had spent the past 5 years working to integrate alien technologies and societies into the new galactic system. Good morning, Mr. President, she said. I have excellent news to report. Economic productivity across all member systems has increased by 40% over pre-war levels. How is that possible? Carl asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. Integration benefits, Helen explained. When species share their technologies and work together instead of competing, everyone benefits. The Altarians are using human manufacturing techniques to build better ships. The Zephyrians are applying Chronari bioengineering to improve their agriculture. Humans are combining alien innovations to develop completely new technologies. Carl smiled. This was exactly what human planners had hoped would happen. Any problems to report? Minor issues only. Some older aliens still have trouble adapting to the new systems, but their children are growing up as full galactic citizens. In 10 more years, the transition will be complete. Thank you, Dr. Baker. Next item? The next report came from Admiral Lisa Martinez, who commanded the Galactic Defense Force from her flagship in the Outer Rim territories. Lisa was a small woman with dark hair and sharp eyes, who had been promoted to her position after proving she could command mixed-species fleets better than anyone else. Security report, Mr. President, she said from her ship's bridge. All sectors remain peaceful. The last resistance group was disbanded 6 months ago, when their leaders accepted amnesty and joined the regular administration. Carl was pleased to hear this. The integration of former enemies into the new system had been one of his biggest concerns. What about fleet readiness? Excellent, sir. We now have ships and crew members from 17 different species serving together. The new vessels that combine technologies from multiple races are performing beyond all expectations. Carl could see alien officers working alongside humans on Lisa's bridge. A Zephyrian navigation specialist worked next to a human weapons officer. A Chronari engineer consulted with an Altarian pilot. They moved together like parts of a well-designed machine. Any external threats? Carl asked. None from within the galaxy, Lisa replied. All former hostile species are now part of our system. However, our long-range sensors have detected some interesting signals from beyond our galactic borders. This was news to Carl. Explain. Captain Shaw's exploration fleet has been monitoring extragalactic space. They found evidence of civilizations in nearby galaxies that may be more advanced than anything we've encountered so far. Carl made a note to discuss this with his Security Council later. For now, it was enough to know that the galaxy itself was secure and peaceful. The final report came from Captain David Shaw, who commanded the joint exploration fleets that pushed beyond the galaxy's edge. David was a young man with brown hair and excited eyes who loved discovering new things. His ships contained volunteers from many different species, all working together to explore the unknown. Mr. President, we've made several important discoveries, David announced from his ship's laboratory. First, we've confirmed that there are at least 3 major civilizations in the nearby Andromeda galaxy. Second, they appeared to have noticed our activities and are sending scout ships in our direction. Are they hostile? Carl asked. Unknown, sir, but they're definitely curious about us. Our best estimate is that their scouts will reach our galaxy within 2 years. Carl felt a familiar excitement. Humanity had spent 5 years integrating the species of this galaxy. Soon, they might face the challenge of dealing with completely new civilizations from beyond their borders. Keep monitoring the situation, he ordered, and begin preparing first contact protocols. After the briefings ended, Carl walked back to the observation deck. The view outside showed him everything humanity had accomplished. The Unity device that was supposed to pacify humans had been converted into the galaxy's communication network, allowing instant contact between any 2 points in space. Former enemies now worked together on projects that benefited everyone. Technologies that had stagnated for thousands of years were advancing rapidly through cross-species cooperation. An Altarian engineer approached Carl on the observation deck. Mr. President, may I speak with you? Of course, Carl replied. My name is Engineer Velkoth. I wanted to thank you for what humans have done for our people. Carl was surprised. Thank me? We conquered your worlds and ended your independence. The Altarian's blue skin shimmered as he spoke. Yes, you conquered us, but you also freed us from ourselves. For 3,000 years, my people followed the same patterns, used the same technologies, thought the same thoughts. We were trapped in our own traditions. He gestured toward the busy space lanes outside the window. Now my children work on human ships, learning new ways to solve old problems. They will accomplish things my generation could never imagine. You gave us a future we could never have created alone. Carl watched as a mixed crew of humans and aliens worked together to guide a massive cargo ship into the docking bay. We gave you opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. That is exactly what makes humans different, the Altarian replied. Other species would have made us slaves or destroyed us completely. You made us partners. As the Altarian engineer walked away, Carl thought about the future. The galaxy was unified and prosperous. New technologies were being developed every day. The various species were learning to work together in ways that made everyone stronger. And now, new challenges were approaching from beyond the galaxy's edge. Civilizations that might be even more advanced than anything they had encountered before. Carl smiled. Humanity had proven they could adapt to any challenge and turn any threat into an opportunity. The Unity device that was meant to be humanity's and had become the foundation of galactic civilization. Whatever came from the distant galaxies, humans would find a way to meet it, understand it, and ultimately benefit from it. The galaxy's final hope had indeed shattered under humanity's strike. But from those shattered pieces, something far greater had been built. And the best was yet to come.